Hey, what's up, people? It's your boy 4K again, Evan Songwai. Today we are going to look on the science of numerology. This is a very good book. This is for those people who don't just believe, who don't just want to believe and want the fucking truth. Kama umekaa question about what the fuck is going on in this planet, unataka kujua ukweli, this is the truth. So, chapter 1, we are going to talk about the quest for truth. Search for knowledge. Have you ever wondered how some people can think so differently from you? Does it seem impossible to understand why others are so sure that they are right when you know they are wrong? How can people be so opposite? That had me puzzled for years, and the only thing that ever helped me to understand these differences was the study of numerology. I have researched and pondered on the subject for years because this science is deep and much can be understood only by meditation on symbols. As I researched, I found answers to unusual phenomena, and that I had experienced and some I had heard about. I never expected to find answers to explain them, but I did. Answers that are scientific and logical. I eventually found these answers only because I had begun having vivid dreams with numbers in them. I wondered what they meant. People began asking me if I knew what numbers meant. Why do they ask me? I wondered. Maybe I'm supposed to know. A friend gave me a quarterly list of events that the Philosophical Research Society in Los Angeles, and I saw there was going to be a seminar on numerology. I had to go. At that seminar, I learned the basic meaning of numbers and how to analyze my own name. I was stunned. The vowels told me my innermost desires, the consonants, my personality. My whole birth name told me my talents and destiny, while my birth date told me what I'm supposed to do with those talents. This would have been invaluable information for me when I was deciding on a major on college. But what was most interesting was how true the information was. I set about analyzing the charts of my husband and children, and what I learned answered a lot of questions. I wish that I had known these things about 2 years ago. We could have made better decisions. What I learned was incredible. I read every book on numerology that was available and compared the texts. They all agreed on the basic meanings of numbers and how they apply to the birth name and death. I studied every day. It was too interesting to stop. All these books were right on. I was lucky in the sense that I could further verify the accuracy of these books by doing charts for many people. In my professional life, in the film industry, I worked with different people on different sets every day, and they were all eager to hear what their names had to say about them. All I did was tell them the positive and negative aspects of each number according to the position in which they appeared in their charts. Some people told me that I must have been using some psychic power. They said, "You know more about me than my family. You told me things about myself that nobody knows." I missed on a point only a couple of times. But when they said it was, I could spot it immediately in another part of the chart. On those occasions, I had neglected to scan the entire chart before making a statement. Sometimes, there were newspaper stories about people in which the full name was printed. I would analyze those names and to find how the story of their behavior fit with their name numbers. It was never hard to find. I learned that this study is an accurate character analysis. It helped me to understand people. Numerology taught me that there are 7 different ways of viewing things, and that all of mankind fits into one of these 7. There have always been 7 schools of thought. Every mind conforms to one of those 7. Through the centuries, the names of religions may change, but the 7 basic thoughts remain. We are all on separate wavelengths, so to speak, and most comfortable with those who are on our own. Have you ever wondered what kind of world this will be if everyone in it were like exactly like you? For that matter, do you really feel you know yourself? The most ancient axiom is know thyself. And to do so is one of the greatest questions in life. Know thyself. If we can pinpoint the wavelength we are on, we are halfway there. Numerology gives us this information. Many are so happy with this knowledge alone, but knowing the basic meanings of numbers was not enough for me. There had to be another reason why they are so accurate in analysis. Some books mentioned it was because of number vibration. But what did that mean? I had to dig further. I had to know how this knowledge was originally conceived. Who drew these conclusions? I reasoned that if names tell so much about a person and are so true, then words must also reveal their true import. I analyzed every word that came to mind and was overwhelmed with the discovery that the numbers of a word explain its meaning perfectly. Furthermore, the shapes of letters that make up each word have a story to tell that is highly informative. I learned that numbers are occult symbols. Occultism is the study of hidden side of nature. It observes nature as a whole rather than examining in its path as science does. As William Eisen, a scientist by profession and author of the English Kabbalah, said in one of his workshops, science has a lot of questions to which they are searching for answers, while occult has all the answers and it is waiting for the questions. When the day comes that the two meet, there will be great strides in science than have ever been before. To me, it proves that there is no way we can separate God from science. The bottom line is that they are one in the same. This is what this book is all about. The search for facts that explain the science behind number vibration and unraveling other mysteries on the way. Discovering the thoughts of those who were most wise and how their beliefs have been and are being proved by science today. And most importantly, how we can use this science to discover hidden meanings in our everyday words, our names, and in character analysis. It is an accurate tool for understanding our children and for employing the right people for the job. There are many fine books on numerology that cover name analysis well. This book is designed to provide background reference material that can be used with any one of them. It is a source book of information that I found scattered throughout a great deal of literature and through meditation. I had a thirst for knowledge and the quest for truth. The study of numbers put me on the road to illumination. A whole world opened up to me and life took on a new meaning. If this book proves to be as exciting, as enlightening to everyone else who is sincerely seeking answers, then my work has been even more worthwhile. I prayed for wisdom, and God gave me numbers. This was a quote by Shelley Blackwell Lawrence, Palmdale, California. Introduction. Una Jordan was in her late 90s when I had her lecture at a conference sponsored by the now fondly remembered Numerology Association International. Jordan, as you may know, died in 1984. 1984. Kama umesoma hiyo kitabu 1984 by George Orwell. It is a fine book that talks about how the government controls everything. Less than 2 months short of her 100th birthday, she was frail when I saw her, but her voice was strong and her mental faculties still finely tuned. She spoke passionately on the need for numerologists to spend much more of their time in researching and studying the deeper meanings of numbers. Jordan clearly felt that the symbolism of the numbers was at the very center of the ancient study of numerology. In my experience, numerologists generally follow two chief avenues of study. One is to concentrate on finding and experimenting with the new combinations of numbers and talents in search for new understanding. When a new book is published, for instance, many numerologists enjoy checking to see if there are any new configurations to test for accuracy and reliability. Less often, numerologists spend time researching and contemplating or meditating on symbolic meanings and extended meanings of numbers and letters. Some numerologists see, as I do, that the heart of the matter is to be found in simply enough in these basic pieces. The more I understand about each number and letter, the more I can discern the numerology charts I study, and in many ways, the more I also understand about myself and the world. I agree with Juno Jordan that the study of these symbolic meanings of numbers and their accompanying letters is the vital place for numerologists to devote a considerable amount of their energies. As Cheryl Blackwell Lawrence has made that kind of study considerably easy by writing this book. In the substantial middle section, Lawrence gives the broadest contemporary analysis on this material that I have seen. It feels a vital need, though they are not as easy to read. I'll still enjoy browsing through 3 early books devoted to such symbolism: Harriet and F. Homer Curtis, The Key to the Universe and The Key of Destiny. Okay, Newcastle Publishing and Karen Helen's Intense Sacred Science of Numbers. Divorce and I don't know what. Lawrence's modern presentation, though, includes some important additions. Some provides in-depth information on the form of symbols and the derivations and meanings of these forms. She has gone back to some basic sources, the Bible, the Kabbalah, to name just 2, to delve deeply into the symbolism. In addition, there's some interesting commentary in Lawrence's book that you are not likely to find elsewhere. She writes in an enlightened manner. For instance, her recognition of the similarity between the look of the head of an ox and the uterus, along with their symbolic connections with the meaning, with beginnings, physical reproduction, and Hebrew letter Aleph, and the English letter A. I'd previously seen the ox head mentioned with the Aleph, but hadn't been able to make any meaningful connections. But having digested Lawrence's commentary, I expected I'll remember the symbols and the meanings for the rest of my life. Lawrence is often helpful in clarifying some meanings of the letters by discussing many words, which begin with the letter in question. She connects B to baby, M to mountain, and magical, F to family and fatherhood. Her decisions of the numbers are equally enlightening and significant. The beginning and the ending sections of the book, often another wonderful treasure trove, They are overflowing with information, and I expect we'll fill some important gaps in most numerologists' scientific and historical understanding. My favorites among the particular pieces of information are the discussion of scientific instruments, the eudophone, and the psychograph, and the polygraph, among others. Numerology tie into the world of sound and vibration. The story of Pythagoras and high school. Since numerologists are always paying homage to Pythagoras, it is helpful to get a solid bearing on his life and accomplishments. The history of modern school of numerology, Lawrence suggests. I have often thought that although it's nice for numerologists to remember that the birth of the field was in distant antiquity, it's also more realistic to accept that the modern version of numerology, dealing particularly with character analysis, dates back only a little more than 100 years ago or so. I'm delighted to see that numerologist Isidore Kominsky finally made it to a contemporary numerology text, along with L. Dow Ballet, Julia Seton, and like. Thank you, Cheryl, for helping to make the historical record a bit more accurate. You will likely have your own favorites among the Lawrence treasures, but the section on letters and numbers is worth the lion's share of our attention. For me, that part of the book addresses one of the key areas in numerology, and is an especially valuable contribution by Matthew Oliver Goodwin, author of Numerology: The Complete Guide, Culver City, California. Hey, I'm hoping that you're having a good time, so I want you to peace out.